How's it going, guys? For those that are returning, welcome back, you guys. For those that are new, welcome to my channel. This is Eddie Star Tarot, and today is Spiritual Fridays. It's where I speak about everything in regards to ascension, spiritual topics, anything that's going to help us to grow spiritually. So today specifically, I'm going to talk about communication. I probably should have talked about this first, but I guess it all plays out the way that it's supposed to, right, Aries? I will get into oracles. I love using oracles when in regards to spirituality. I'll be using Gaia Energy and White Light Oracle. These are the two books for it, and I will be reading out of the book, so it can give me a better depiction. And the deck here as well, you guys. It's very dense, and I love the writer. She's a spiritualist as well, and she's amazing. So I love the way that she depicts the card as well. But it's probably going to be somewhere around the 20-minute mark where if you guys want to fast forward through this, I don't recommend you doing that, but Aries, it is what it is. Maybe you guys want to go see another reading, and I'm going to, in the beginning of each one of the zodiacs, I'm going to be telling this part of the story. It might show up a little differently for each zodiac, but anyways, you guys. So for those that want to fast forward, you can. Probably somewhere around the 20-minute mark, like I said before. I'll start the cards. So I think the way that I want to approach this is certainly telling you that communication is key. There is a communication going on with, we call them spirit guides, angels, God, the divine, right? This communication, for me, you guys, I didn't even know this existed, and I like to explain it in a certain way. And today, I think I want to use sacred geometry is how to explain it. So, if you guys are new and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say it like this, you guys. So for a lot of us, right, like for me right now, you guys, I would love to have a spiritual mentor. I would love to have a life coach right now to take me through some of the processes that I'm in some of like the lack mindset that I have, stuff like that, right? But I can't afford it right now. But I will. I can't afford it up until now, but I will eventually, right, Aries? That's what we want to say. We want to make sure that we're bringing positivity into our environment, the way that we're communicating as well. I eventually will be in that position, but maybe it's like that for yourself, right? And so you say to yourself, how am I going to be able to get to the point where I can afford that, right? Well, I'm letting you know that there is a team around you right now, especially if you had an awakening. A lot of us, and those of you that have not, know that there's always communication around you, and however you believe it. I don't care if it's archangels. If you're sitting here on a tarot reading, you're receiving communication from a higher being, because the person who's doing the tarot reading, it's coming from somewhere, right? It all comes from something, well, obviously the source. But with that being said, Aries, I like to go back to how the planet is made, right? Everything's made within mathematics. I always say that Creator, God, I like to look at him as the master of all the traits that we are trying to master, right? Well, whether we want to be an architect, he is a master architect. He's a master geneticist. He's a master comic. He's a divine comic, right? There's many things. There's many archetypes that God is masterful with, and one of the major ones I feel like is mathematics, sacred geometry, right? Golden ratio. Those two things are telling us that everything that is, even with us, the way that we're made perfectly, symmetrically, right? With a human being, when we look at beauty, we think of symmetrical. When we see a face and the face looks symmetrical, so if one part of my face was off, you would notice it. The eyes are that way. And the more symmetrical your face is, the more appeasing to the eye it is. So think about this in architect. Like every architect follows this golden ratio, right? There's a formula, and even how you get bigger, architects will use it because they know it's appeasing, right? It's going to look beautiful. But God has already made that within nature, within the universe. Even with plant life, all of it is using the golden ratio, right? Like when you think of a snail, it has that spiral, right? When we think about like crystals, the way that it forms, a lot of it is attested to geometry at the end of the day. And now, with all that being said, if God is using mathematics, you would assume the same thing that goes for communication. Look at how we communicate as people, right? I always like to attest it. I have a chart here, a conversion chart, and there's many conversion charts, right? There's many different dialects, many different languages. But you can turn our alphabet into numbers. I think that this was like a Greek or Roman thing. I'm sorry, I'm not getting it correctly, but it's one of those two, right? Where you can like A is 1, 2 is B, 3 is C, and going down the chart, right? So with that being said, there's many ways that we can depict this, right? There's many dialects. For me, I grew up. I was in the military for a while, right? So I can go around military people and understand what they're saying. There's people. I used to be in the military, right? And we used to go out to the bar and stuff like that. And there are people around me who didn't understand what we were talking about. Like, what does that mean? Why are you guys saying that? It's because we can actually form our own languages, and that's what I want. I'm trying to paint the picture for you, is that there's no right or wrong way in which you communicate with your spirit team. But first and foremost, you have to believe that they're there, right? How do we even get to that point? You guys, we have to run off of faith a lot of the times. And I'll explain to you guys like this. These are the many dynamics that you run into when we're talking about angel numbers, right? I'm going to give you like surface level knowledge about some of the stuff, just for the sake of time. But I need to, for some people don't understand that there's many ways of communication. I need you to know that there is, and it's upon you to develop it, right? When you hear those old sayings like, if you don't believe God's there, God's not going to be there. But it's not to say that he's not there. He's just waiting for you to tune in to the frequency, right? That being said, that's another way. Think about it as a radio station. In order to get to a radio station, it has to be tuned into that frequency. The same thing goes for you. You have the tuner right here, but you have to get the clutter out in order to open yourself up to these communications. All of us are being watched. We are in the grand play, the grand stage. You are in the grand stage right now, you guys. I always say that we're being tested. This place is for you to evolve spiritually. What are you going to do when you have the choice? You have the choice literally to be bad or be good, right? It's as simple as that. What are you choosing to do with your time? Are you bringing up the environment around you, or are you bringing it down? And a lot of the times, depending on what you're doing, it's because either you've been hurt before or you've been healed. Hurt or healed, what are you doing? And that is literally the poetic justice right there. And so I always tell us, you guys, to be in the healing process is the best thing that you can do. Everyone on planet Earth has a spiritual malady, a spiritual disease, right? But that being said, it's imperative for us to go through the healing process. No one goes through this process unscathed. I like this quote that I saw. I'm channeling to you guys, so just bear with me. I will eventually get to the communication part of this, but so when we go to war so I went to Afghanistan, right? And they say even if you didn't get hit by a bullet, or you didn't get blown up or hurt by an IED, being around it is enough to damage you up here. So there's no unwounded soldier. Same goes for people in being on planet Earth. There is some type of trauma that you've endured, some type of oppression, suppression, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, you guys. ARIES, you've gone through it in some way. But we are soldiers at the end of the day, right? And we can overcome. Getting back to communication. First, so I assume that many ARIES here are already have gone through a lot of the ascension process that I'm talking about. But there are some things that probably got missed. But I'm talking to the new people who are coming in. They don't quite know what this is, right? I know there was a time period where I was receiving these guidances and I was unsure. I'm very intellectual, so I come from I need to understand why this is coming to me. Like, I could be frustrated. It could be frustrating too, because sometimes I have like the Libra mind. I need to know the logics behind it, right? And a lot of the times, you guys, when we're working with God or the Creator, look at the experience that you're in right now. It takes a person to be not logical. to understand a lot of this spiritual shit, right? At the end of the day, guys, let's be honest. Some of it is not linear, meaning it's not like in a row. It's not like I'm going to teach you the subject and you're going to get it. No, I can even teach you this ascension process and you go through it and all that shit goes out the window. All the training goes out the window, right? Even if you prepared yourself, because God has an immaculate plan. I'm trying to get you to plant the seed so you can, like, when you're going through that battle, you're able to like go back and be like, hey, that's what that guy said. This is what I'm going through. And then you have these reality checks. Because a lot of the times, guys, when we're going through the ascension process, we're getting plucked out of our body and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Like, why am I going through this healing process? Because you've gone through many years of training. And some of that training, you guys, isn't useful. It's like, I always say like this, man. Survival is survival at the end of the day. When you can survive, that shit is bare bone, man. Like it's flight or fight right there. And I always attest to going to Afghanistan, flight or fight. It's like I can if you could put me into the suck, you could put me back into battle, and I'll be able to perform because I know that. But when I got back home, I couldn't turn it off. You guys, it was like that for me. That was too much. I couldn't turn off that flight or fight response anymore. And that's where I started to drink, right? And that was my thing right there, and that kept me okay for a while until that became the problem. And you see, then I had to get to the point where I had to address the issue, right? The real issue was the pain that was going on within me. But I say all that, you guys, because there's some Aries need to hear that out there. Some people need to know. It's like I had to get to the point, you guys. So I was talking about it being logical as opposed to not logical, right? It's not to say that being spiritual is like you being insane or nuts. No, you guys, it's a very beautiful process because not everyone's going to get it. You guys, there's going to be people that see this reading and just be like, what is this guy talking about? Like, I don't understand it. It's not meant for everybody. That's the thing, you guys. If you are following along with what I'm saying right now, it's because you've been chosen to do something. You see all this content about the chosens, the golden child, the golden children, the star seeds, the crystal children, stuff like that, right? Those are real. All those are real things. But the big thing today, you guys, that I need you to take away is that there is a mission on your life. Whatever that mission is, you have to figure it out. That's why I'm teaching you about communication. Communication is key. A lot of us can't afford, like I said, can't afford a spiritual mentor right now. But I'm going to tell you that there is spiritual mentors around you trying to mentor you. Maybe you're seeing it in many different ways. Let's get into the communication part of this. Aries. So spirit animals is one way. Angel numbers is another. Angel numbers I always talk about because this is how I got out of the matrix, and then I started to realize it was numbers, you guys. I was never really that good at like math, right? But there was something with the numbers. It just attracted to me. That's how my relationship advanced with God and the guides and the spirit team around me. It's how I understand that I have the psychic abilities. Some of the most beautiful choices that I've made in life has become because of the communication of angel numbers. And I always tell it to people, right? My logical mind wanted to talk me out of it, right? When I first got these messages at a young age, I just ignored it. I kept getting 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. I kept getting 9/11. I thought to myself, so maybe I'm thinking 9/11 because of September 11th, right? What happened in 2001, right? With the Twin Towers, and then that was something that was planted in my mind. So I was like, yeah, maybe that's what it was, whatever. And then it would change to 9/11 to 222 or 333. I went, you guys. This is the thing. You got to be patient with yourself with the spiritual game. Some of us get it real right quick. Some of us, it's going to take us some time, man. It took me 15 years later from my first contact to actually make contact with my guides. And I'm going to let you know this. There is a spirit team around you who are trying to guide you, and they're assigned to you. There's someone always looking out for you guys. Everyone has a guardian angel, whether you believe it or not. They're there. There's time periods in your life where maybe you're like myself, right? Where you survived some shit that you shouldn't have survived. Where it's like someone was guiding you out of it, or guiding you out of trouble. You guys, those are our guides, and there's no limit. The only limit to this communication is you and what you think up here. And I want to explain to you guys is this process of how in angel numbers, how it happened with me, right? So I finally got 333. And then I read the advice. So it doesn't matter. There's many different authors. When you go into Google and you start searching it up, you guys, your linear mind or your limited mind is going to want to talk you out of it. I'm going to tell you that this is part of the process. It comes with a place of faith and belief. So when I got these numbers, you guys, I read it and I started tripping out because I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty smart, right? So like I thought to myself, this actually relates to my life. Like this advice is like in tandem to what's going on with my specifically at this moment. And I thought to myself, this is strange, right? And so then I started seeing. So you guys, I'll tell you like this: when you start putting belief in something, you make it stronger, right? It's like I say the same thing with intuition. If you believe in your own gut feelings, if you start to listen to your intuition, it gets stronger. You start working that muscle up. The same thing goes on with this communication. The communication evolves. It may start out with 333, but then it turns into, like I said before, 911. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, if it's 911, maybe they mean 119 as well. So it's not just one way, you guys, like back to the linear concept. I want to read numbers from left to right because I've been taught my whole life to read left to right. No one ever told me to read right from left. The same thing goes, you guys, for words, right? If you read something backwards, does that mean something? Yes, it does. Same thing goes with numbers, right? We call them palindromic numbers. Also, there's no limit to where you see it. You may see 9, I might see 1659, or I see 1700 right now. If I see 17 and 00 and I turn around and see 17 on the wall over here with one number chart that I have, they're trying to tell me 1717, right? So there's no limit. The only limit is to what you limit yourself. And you probably say to yourself, well, you're reaching. Okay, maybe I am reaching. But I also come from the information that there are no coincidences in this reality. When we come from that perspective, it really empowers us. Whenever you get that intuitive itch where you look at the time, that is a secret, you guys. I'm just letting you guys know certain inclinations as to when you should be writing down these numbers. You guys, I became so obsessed with this process that I would literally be looking up. I literally look up hundreds to 200 different number combinations at any given time, to the point where now I'm starting to memorize shit, right? And then, so you think to yourself, there's people who can look at the number and they have the gift to just know what it means, right? And like I said before, if you're attracted to one numerologist and then it changes at some point, you're meant to change because that other numerologist, the language always changes, right? And think about it like this, you guys. You have just as much as there is the light, there is the darkness, and there are people watching you. They're looking at your moves. Their language is able to shift, and the language is able to shift because you're going to have to be able to protect yourself. It always shifts because people caught on to, and I'm going to let you know. So I'll explain like this: there's people that can catch on to the language as well, that can use it against you. So you have to understand that it's not all of it is meant for good, right? You're going to have to use your intuition and discernment. That's why I always say it's imperative to have discernment and intuition. Trust in your gut feeling. Your gut is always right, you guys, whether you know it or not. When you get that inclination or itch, trust it, because I promise you, whenever you go against it, that's when you deny yourself. Same thing with this communication. There is no right or wrong answer. Whatever you believe, you believe. If you're only going to look up 1111 or 33333, 2222, maybe that's all that you need to know at this time period. My first initial thought when I started getting all this communication is, what if it's the government? That's the first thought that I said to myself. I was like, what if it's the government? Maybe they're directing my thoughts or trying to direct my experience. And I thought to myself, well, what if it is? And I was like, well, what if I'm saying it's God, right? Or these are angel numbers. your mind's going to want to rationalize it in some way. It's not going to be a rational concept at the end of the day. I'm just let you know that, you guys. When we see Native Americans, right? I have Native American in my blood, right? So I have spirit animals that I see and I know. It's like, oh, that's communication to me. So there is no limit to what I'm saying here. I'm only giving you guys certain communication standards, but I'm telling you that it can evolve. So when you see it's the same thing with like seeing a spirit animal. So say I see a hawk in the sky. Most people just see a bird, right? For me, I already know that it means many different things. What is that hawk doing? Where is the hawk located? Why is the hawk doing it? All those things are meant something to me. They mean something more meaningful, and it's dictating what's going on below with like on Earth, right? And it's always either gotten me out of trouble. It's gotten me away from walking into something I shouldn't have walked into. So I'm letting you know that there's no limit to the way God talks to us, but you have to understand God is always talking, right? And so I've said the government's not, I mean, does a government own birds? I mean, maybe they have their own like freaking own birds out there, but I'm telling you, you guys, there's no limit to how you're going to communicate with them, but whatever is right for you is right for you. Maybe it is just tarot, and you guys are going to tarot reading, getting guidance, and that is the way that your team is communicating with you. And these, I only explained 2 different ways for you guys, right? There's many ways. You can be using a pendulum, right? You can be actually receiving guidance through psychic means. For me, it's like channeled messages, visions. You might be getting it through your dream state. There's no right or wrong with any of it. It's all meant to help you. You guys, today I just wanted to tell you, because a lot of us get this initial angel numbers, and I always ask people, they ask me, hey, you always post about angel numbers, you post about this, and then I tell them to go look up your numbers, and then they say, who's got the time to do that? I'm like, dude, you just limited yourself, man. I was like, I look up like freaking probably 2,000-3,000 numbers in a week. We're like, who has the time for it? You have the time for it. If you're able to sit and watch Netflix, you guys, you got time to watch. I'm literally watching Netflix and depicting numbers at the same time. Or I've made it my process to look up numbers all the time because it's always giving me guidance. And it literally, you guys, you'll start to recognize, I'm telling you, there's mentors around you at all times. It's upon you to start listening to it. That is God's talk to you. It's not limited. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I feel like I'm trying to convince people out there. And if that's the case, then that's the case. What else was I going to say? Yeah, the best way to do this, you guys, I literally have little notebooks, composition books of numbers. You're going to start noticing patterns. You're going to start noticing, wait, why do they keep sending 333? Because you need to acknowledge it. The moment you acknowledge it, this is the acknowledgement. You actually look it up. And then you look it up, and they'll keep sending the same number because they want you to know that you're not applying the advice. And the moment that you apply the advice, they'll move on to the next set of numbers that you need. And then the next set of numbers. And then you'll recognize that they'll give you the number, maybe a month or 2 pass by, and they'll give you that number again. And then you realize, wait a minute, why? It's because there's a new set of things that you're doing in life that needs that number again. You guys, so there's no limit to this communication. You think about the way that computers compute and communicate with each other as well. It's by numbers and letters, right? Humans do the same thing, you guys. We don't put attention to it. That's the reason why. I'm going to leave it there. I think that I beat that dead horse. Let's get into... and you guys, the funny thing is I'm about to go do this 11 more times with 11 more zodiacs. That's how imperative I think this advice is. Let's get started, you guys. I'm going to start with Gaia, and then I'm going to move into white light. So Spirit, what do we have for Aries? So you guys could be getting like sacred geometry, right? Maybe you guys are seeing the Merkaba, or like you guys are learning about sacred geometry, how the world works. Maybe it's the same way as they told me as they told you, right, Aries? You're getting the advice to look up what is it? Yeah, you are. You hear the honk? They're clarifying. You're getting what is it called? Why am I drawing a blank right now? The tree of life. And so like I'm getting also like chakra. You're like getting sound bowl healing, and you know how they have the different pads that the I forget what the pads are called, but they have different sacred geometry on them. You guys are getting that right now. That is communication, you guys. That's what I'm trying to talk about, like on the planet. The planet, literally the planet is sacred geometry. Spirit, what do we have for Aries? Please and thank you. What do they need to know? All right, awesome, you guys. We have on the bottom of the deck, Liberation. And you guys had 3 cards that came out. You have number 11, Rising Above. You have number 10, Jewel Within a Teardrop. And then you have number 7, Goddess of Creation. That's awesome. Okay, guys. So, huge thing with the cards on the board right now. You guys are in this process right now where you're being liberated. We have 2 cards talking about rising above. It's funny that I talked about the hawk, right? The hawk meaning is like when I see the doves as well, we'll get into it because this is purity. When we talk about doves, this is freedom, purity here. And we also have 2 different colors here. We have the blue, and then we have this, I would call it gold or bronze, meaning that there is to me these colors are enlightenment, because the bird has this I would say halo around them. So this is a depiction of you guys. You guys are rising above right now, and to me is rising above the negativity and rising above the emotions that you guys are feeling at this time period. This also tells me like the negative impacts that you have in your life. And in order to rise above, you guys, too, is clarity. Let's get into let's get into liberation. It says breaking free from negative attachment. And you get that, I get that with the color scheme in the background, right? When you break free from negative attachments, what are those negative attachments? We call that being in the matrix, right? I feel like you're being asked to fly above it. When I was talking about the hawk in the sky, the hawk in the sky is getting a bird's eye view, a higher perspective on your situation. What is your situation right now? What is the negativity that's blocking you? I feel like right now you are breaking free from it. It's mental. It's what you're thinking, what's in your mind space. Maybe you needed, why did I beat that horse so much about communication? Because you guys need to be reminded that God is always communicating with you. You're always being watched out for. I know sometimes when I say this is a test, that the Earth platform's a test, it might be a deterrent for some people. Like, I don't want you to know, I don't want to believe that there's someone watching me because of the things that I've done or the things that I'm doing. You guys, whether you believe it or not, it's the truth. I'm letting you know. Like, dude, there's government people watching you. I'm going to let you know that right now, too. There's cameras. I got a phone watching me right now. That means that somebody's watching me somewhere. You have to understand that if humans can do it, God can do it as well. So breaking free is a huge thing here. And I feel like, too, it's like being liberated within your mental faculties. To me, it's like what Spirit's saying here is that you're getting clarity. Maybe it is tarot, you guys. I know sometimes I think about myself and I'm like, I know it's like, I think of myself as like being in recovery, right? Like addict, addiction, being a soldier. But it's like hard for me to think of a perspective that maybe like a judge or like a police official or maybe like, a politician is looking at tarot, but they are, right? You have to imagine that everyone's having spiritual awakenings. And so I just think that there's no limit to how far this stuff can reach. But I feel like you're being asked or guided to rise above right now. It says clarity, freedom, and solution. You're finding solutions. I feel like numerology is a huge solution. I'm going to read the book meaning for it. The negative, I posted something on Facebook today, and I said, the alcoholic goes through a 12-step process that is a spiritual process. at the base of it is a spiritual program. And I said, for the journey for the alcoholic, and this, I'm saying this, you guys, is not because you're an alcoholic, but it's because you have a spiritual malady, a spiritual sickness. I always say it like this, you guys. It's like everyone can get something from this 12-step process because it's a spiritual process. A lot of the times when we say doing the shadow work, it means that you're doing an inventory. It's the 4th step in Alcoholics Anonymous. So depending on how maybe you guys are dealing with recovery. I'm saying all this stuff for a reason. I also said the human process, but I said the alcoholic process. The human process is that we go through this journey carrying trauma, so we are harboring pain. And I said when we go through this healing process, instead of harboring pain, we become the harbinger for change. It's a beautiful play on words, right? So there's a point when you start becoming that change. I feel like right now you guys are letting go, which is beautiful. And I get that from the jewel within a teardrop, but we'll get into that. It says, the white dove depicted on the card flies high above the earth and is able to see things from a higher perspective. You guys, what am I telling you about this communication? A lot of the times I'm just reading signs. And I think that is a talent. You know, I literally looked at this card and knew what the book was saying, and I haven't even read the book meaning. And how can I remember that anyways, right? But think about it. This line of communication, there's no end to what this is. Maybe you're a reader and you're limiting yourself. I was talking about a hawk, right? And it's literally saying the same thing. So there's something to be said about this communication thing. You're being communicated with. It says so she suggests that you do the same. You cannot do this physically, but you can do it mentally by disconnecting emotionally from the present situation. Yeah, you guys are going through something that's pretty harsh right now. No matter, Spirit confirmed it right now with the honk. No matter what the situation is, stop thinking about it. You are currently too close to see things clearly. A simple solution exists. This will become clear to you once you let go. Stop focusing on the situation for a while. Bring your awareness within. Close your eyes and relax. Meditate and surrender. We all say that as spiritualists. Relax, close your eyes, meditate and surrender. It is like the cliche answer, but it is the only answer, you guys. I'm letting you know it's the only answer. You have to calm this down in order for it to operate. It says, take a walk in the park, dance, have fun, do whatever it takes to detach from things for a while, and the solution will come obvious when the timing is right. That's beautiful. I can explain this in so many different ways. How do I want to explain this right now? You guys, going back to communication, the only time, you guys, when I'm not getting my communication the way that I should be is when I'm in my mind, when I've got the monkey mind going. You see, the mind can be a curse and a blessing at the same time. And I say, the more intelligent you are, the more cursed it could become, because I become obsessive about things. Remember when I said that I got completely obsessed with the numbers? Yeah, but sometimes it could be a little too much, right? Maybe. But we're talking about, for you guys right now, it's a situation. Could be, I just heard situationship. So you are in an environment right now that you don't like. Maybe you're in a relationship with a person that you don't want to be with, or maybe you're in a financial constraint, and all you can think about is that how you don't want to be with that person, or how that person is, or how this person does this to you, right? Or maybe you're thinking about how much money you don't have. Whatever it is that you're dealing with specifically right now, maybe you're at a job that you don't like, and all you can think about and focus about is how depressing it is, right? In order for you to understand and make a decision from clarity, it's like it said, you have to detach from it. You have to rise above it, and you have to ask yourself, these are emotions. You're rising above emotions. And there's waves of these emotions that are flowing in. You can do well by prayer too, you guys. Prayer is setting intentions at the end of the day. So make sure you're setting your intentions to God of what you want. If you don't have clarity about a situation or you feel depressed, tell God, right? It all goes back. I don't care if you think it's source or universe. All of us are saying the same thing. It's just a different way, a different dialect, a different communication. It's not linear, Aries. If it's religion, it's religion. If it's spiritual, it's spiritual. It's all the same. It's all coming from the same source at the end of the day, right? Step away from the step away and you'll find the solution. I always say. I can't think of an example specifically right now, but let's move into a jewel within a teardrop. The jewel within a teardrop, something that you are going through right now, or something in the past that you've gone through, Aries, something that's made you cry, something that's made you feel pain. There is a silver lining in it, is what I get when I see this card. There's a silver lining. You've been bogged down in some way, and I always think it's the throat or the chest. You are a secret angel. I didn't notice this before. Not 2 readings ago, but maybe 2 weeks ago, I learned that this was wings. So you are an angel here and you don't know it. You don't know your true essence. It's like you've been locked into, you are in the confines of what other people told you who you are. And now you're learning that you're something more. And I want you to know that the pain and suffering that you've gone through, Aries, you were meant to go through. It was in the divine plan, always. Damn, it's always hard to hear that information. I know one for myself. It's like, are you kidding me? Fuck, you know, with that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, sometimes, you guys, if you're mad at God, be mad at God. But tell him that you're mad at him. And tell him, can you please give me some advice on how I can not be mad at you? God wants you to have a relationship with them, right? The communication is just the beginning. Yeah, for myself, you guys, I didn't want to go through, if I look back and I say, God, why'd you allow these people to abuse me the way that they did? Why did you allow me to find alcohol? Why'd you allow my brother to die? Why'd you allow this? Why'd you allow that? And it's a lot of the times, you guys, we end up figuring out that it's not God doing this. Us as humans are doing shit to ourselves, right? It's because we're harboring pain. We're harboring these things that are going on in our life. And it's because we're not taking the time to listen to the advice that's already being given to us. It's all around us, right? But your pain, there's the process is pain. In pain, there's transformation, and you guys are healing. It says appreciation, spiritual and emotional reconnection. Yeah, you're reconnecting to what you really need to be feeling at this time period. And that's a transformational process, you guys. Aries, we have Goddess of Creation. I always look at this card and to me, it's beauty. This is someone who is grounding to the earth and into the sky, and the sky is being depicted as waves. So these waves of new emotions are about to hit onto you, and the naked and you being in this naked feeling is it's telling you come from the earth. And these new waves of emotions are going to help you. It says transformation, creativity, and wholeness. I'm being guided to read out of the book as well. It says, it's a time for you to chill out and let go of the rigid, fixed ideas. Relax and take time out just to be. You really have been trying too hard lately, and they're taking things far too seriously. This has blocked your creativity and caused your energy levels to be low. You probably tell yourself that you don't have time to relax, but you must make that time. Make the priority, and you will find that an interesting transformation takes place. That's what I'm going to call this, you guys. Take the time out to relax. Take time out to relax. Make this a priority, and you will find that an interesting transformation takes place. Your creativity will increase, and you will feel revitalized by a newfound sense of purpose and inspiration. Your mind may be telling you that relaxation is a futile waste of time, yet the opposite is true. Relaxation will slow down your thoughts and open your heart. Yeah, you guys, you're in your mind. We got monkey mind running rampant in your life right now. Your well-being is paramount importance. Do not take this for granted. Without it, nothing else really matters. Yeah. Aries, I feel like you guys are hard workers. You guys want change. You're being asked to change, and I feel like you guys are being asked to rise above your situation. Specifically, you guys are receiving many downloads, many communications right now. Start listening to them, because it's going to say the same thing that I've been telling you. I promise you, Aries, you're gonna move out of here, and you're going to listen to some piece of advice, and I promise you're going to get something from it, whether it be angel numbers or maybe it's spirit animals. Maybe you're going to come out of your house and you're going to see a dove in the sky. That is your communication from God, reaffirming to you that you need to rise above the situation. You need to calm your mind. And the sadness that you're going through right now, the pain that you're going through, or pain that you probably have gone through, it will pass. You're connecting spiritually. Sometimes these waves of emotions come back to us because they need to bring out the pain that you're feeling or harboring inside, so you can shift, transmute it, and heal it. We're already at 40 minutes, Aries. I'm going to leave your guys' reading there. We're not even going to get into White Light Oracle. Yeah, that message was powerful in itself, you guys. Thank you guys for showing up. If you guys like the reading, give me a thumbs up. Catch me in the dailies, the daily reads that I do. You guys, I got mad love for you guys. Catch me in next week's Friday Spiritual, or Spiritual Fridays, and make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. All right, Aries.